At the age of 5, we left Somalia because of the civil war. My family and I had to find safety in the neighboring country of Kenya. While we were there, we learned about the refugee process. And at this time, we spent about 2 years just adapting to the Kenyan language, the environment, and little did we know that we'd have to get up again and move. And I was 9 years old. I had to leave my family, my biological parents, and my aunt, and several of my siblings. We were all assigned with different relatives to come to the United States of America. We were resettled in the state of Utah in 1997 at the age of 9. I started elementary school in 3rd grade, not knowing the language, not knowing anything about the U.S. system, the U.S. Environment. And so I had to adopt, I had to learn, I had to figure a way to make sure that I was at the same level as my peers. I had to make sure that I know that I have all of these other labels, such as being a refugee, being a woman of color, all of these identities. I had to sort of show the community or show the people in my schools that I was someone who was being serious about my education. I wanted to play a big role in the community. And so navigating the school system, it was sort of a challenge because a lot of times we don't have mentors, we don't have people that look like us that are teaching us in those schools. And so it's hard to envision yourself in high places, envision yourself being a lawyer or being a cop. And so for me, it was really important to really understand what wasn't available to me in terms of opportunities. And so that's sort of like how I became who I am, I guess, to this day. Make my family proud, because I would be the first to graduate in my family, and no one has had an education degree, and so that was important to me. And once I got my high school diploma, then I was like, what's next? What do I do now? And so being that I sort of went through different curriculums and different programs, I sort of said, okay, let me start at Salt Lake Community College. Let me see how things are over there. And so when I got there, one of a faculty member or an advisor approached me and said, hey Fatima, how do you feel about coming to a Black Student Union meeting and taking the lead? And I was like, what do you mean taking the lead? What do you want me to do? So I go to the meeting, there was like 3 students, and I was like, I'm not pleased with this. I want to do something about this. I went around the whole college and I invited every student that I could see, student of color, to come and have a meal. I didn't even say we're having a meeting, we're just going to come together and have a meal. And the room was filled. We didn't even have any seating available after that first meeting. And then eventually I started hosting events where we wanted to integrate the faculty members with the students, and connecting students of color to know how to access resources in the college. So when I was able to do that there, I was like, okay, maybe I could be a leader. Maybe I have the potential of developing programs and asking professionals to really listen to me, because that's hard to do. Yeah, I think, it's for me, and even my sister Ofa Matangi, we ran during the primaries. This is the first time they've ever seen in the state of Utah 2 women of color coming together and running a clean race and speaking up for our communities and sharing our experiences, really connecting the dots that a lot of time in my role in the city as a policy advisor and previously as a refugee liaison, I would always meet with elected officials and they'll tell me, how do I communicate with the community? How do I come in and fit in? And it's like, you don't need to fit in. First and foremost, the community needs to understand you. They need to know they can trust you. There needs to be an intentional piece to that. And so when you don't have that, I can't give you that. There has to be some sort of substance that you put into it. And so for me, it was really important, and I just hearing from various elected officials, not one, from all walks of life, both parties, Democrat, Republican. It was a constant thing that they just didn't know how to really meet or understand the leaders and the activists in the community, or regular community members. And so for me, it's like, okay, do I just watch this and keep educating and keep making them aware of all of these things that our communities are struggling with, or do I be that change? Do I step up and say, and believe in myself and say that I can do this work, on behalf of the community, act for the community, put the community's voice where it's needed, and implement the changes that I want to see in city government, in state government, in federal government. I think it's important that we present ourselves, and it's often said, if a space is not available for you at the table, bring a folding chair or sit at the floor, just as long as your perspective is heard and you are you're really there because you care. You really want to see your community flourish. You want to see a thriving city for everyone.
Fatima Dirie.
Fatima Dirie.
Fatima Dirie.
Fatima Dirie.
Fatima.
Fatima Dirie.
Fatima Dirie.